Okay, next up we're going to be taking a look at Reinhardt. So we're getting to the hero section. We know this Reinhardt art. Look at him. The big bag German dude that he is. Very, very cool. And equally this, it's the old concept art of Reinhardt as well that we've seen since the introduction. Now the things that I really like on this page are, number one, all the detail on his actual shield. Sorry, we can actually see here, if we zoom in, how the detail on his shield opens up, which is kind of cool, the little line that opens up. That's very, very awesome. We can also sort of see here Reinhardt underneath his suit, all of his grizzled glory, which is pretty sweet. Nice shot of the back of his suit here as well. The Crusader armour, powered by a feedback system, allows the user to exhibit inhuman strength. Very, very cool. You can also see him doing a bit of hammering down, throwing out his fire strike there as well, which is pretty sweet. And a bit more of a shot of his rocket hammer. Big heavy weapon requires powered rockets to give it momentum. So this is kind of an example of the cool stuff you get in this book, just sort of lots of nice little extra details in terms of things coming in, which is sweet. And then also you've got Reinhardt in full charge there as well, which is very, very cool. Two, nice piece of Roadhog, because we're onto the R's here, so you can see a nice bit of art of Roadhog there with loads of detail. You can see all of his badges pulled out, things like that, as well as his number plate, all of his tattoo and all of its grisly glory too. Interesting bits on Roadhog. We get a bit of a zoom in on his scrap gun. Anything metallic can be converted to ammo, always useful. Mako, of course, there from his partner's Moment in Crime short, similar with him with Junkrat here as well. And of course the gas that he chugs down is apparently to reduce the effects of radiation poisoning. Obviously Mako, when the Australian Omnium's fusion core was blown up, was sort of surviving in the Junker town and the sort of Junkers area around there in the outback. Soldier 76, this art pretty cool. We've also seen this art as well. The book then jumps into a little bit after the Soldier 76 section. It goes into a couple of Soldier 76 blogs, so I'll skip through those, but I'll quickly explain where they're from. We can see some screens of Soldier here. I like this. I think this is probably the one from the front cover. You see a little bit about the biotic field there, creating a biotic healing area to accelerate recovery. Nothing hugely new there. Bit of a zoom in on the heavy pulse rifle that he stole from Watchpoint Grand Mesa 2. This then goes sideways into some blogs. So these are all on the Overwatch site if you want to read them. They were out sort of teasing Soldier 76 and his reveal into Morrison. So this experimental weapon stolen from Mesa, you can see on site. Fading Glory on the Trail of Jack Morrison is actually the name of the blog along with these images, so you can go find that on the website. Equally, these are from the Soldier 76 Origins trailer. I use a few of these in the voice line videos that you see, so if you want to have a look at these in more detail, go and watch the Soldier 76 Origins trailer for those. You can see Overwatch Under Threat, you can see the one view of the original strike team, you can see Reyes, you can see Anna Amari there as well. All very cool. Ditto for these images and this text. Just going to speed through that because you can do all of this online, which is awesome. Symmetra. I like this side of Symmetra. It's pretty nifty. Symmetra is one of those characters that, with her comic, got some additional love in terms of story. This is quite a nice one. I'm not sure if this has been put online already or not. And then some of these you can actually see her Vishkar style skin, as well as a bit more on her photon projector as well. So you do get some quite nice zoom-ins of the various weapons there, for example. And then just above you can see Symmetra in her Vishkar skin, rather than the one she's wearing at the moment, which is interesting. Like when she's on Vishkar Business, she's got this Vishkar corporate uniform that we've seen her in before in her comic too. Go check out the comics if you haven't already, they're very awesome. Indeed, of course, got the teleporter, got the sentries, all of that goodness. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, because Symmetra's not wearing her Vishkar thing by default, one would presume she's still working for Vishkar. Torbjorn, we know and love that piece of art from the original Overwatch trailer. Seeing him in Molten Core is kind of cool. He's all buffed up here. You can see his rivet gun firing bursts of molten metal and recharging, of course, in the way that he does. And then a few things about his armour packs, a few sketches of turrets there on Torby. Next, Tracer. Cheers, love. My Cockney accent's really bad. Nothing, less said about that the better. Moving straight on. Now Tracer, some of the Tracer origin stuff, there are various trailers and bits online that you can find all of these images in. So if you want to have a look at these, you sort of see her in the Slipstream fighter. Some of it was dropped into the Tracer Heroes of the Storm preview trailer, which you can go have a look at, which is pretty cool. Outside of that too, we have nice little sketches of her in terms of her pulse pistols and similar, blinking in and out. Awesome. Okay, and next up we have none other than Widowmaker. We're getting to the end. You can see Widowmaker even covered a little bit by her own head there. Nice cool art. You can see her tattoos and everything. It's full glory, as well as her sort of zoomed in illustration there as well. And if we jump in a little further, then you can see a bit of One Shot One Kill. See a little bit more about her Widow's Kiss, her rifle, of course, that has the grapple. I kind of love that illustration at the top. You can see that on the front cover. Very, very cool. And then a little bit more about zooming in of her tattoos, which have been translated in a few other places. Not gonna lie to you, can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I have read them somewhere. Winston, okay. Fairly cool Winston art of all of our favourite ape. And then of course you're going to get some goodness from Recall, so you can see Baby Winston, Dr. Howard Winston, various stills from there too. Winston going into Primal Rage, that's kind of cool. I don't think we've seen this. I'm going to zoom in on that. I can't remember seeing that. Of course, it could have been that these have been shown elsewhere. If you know where they've been shown, please do jump on in the comments below and correct me. And of course a little bit about his Tesla cannon that Torbjorn says tickles things. Extremely hazardous to living creatures. Well, one would imagine that a lightning cannon should be very hazardous to living creatures. Got a bit of Zarya there. That's the art that we know and love. Zarya looking straight on there. Currently at the moment fighting the reactivated Siberian Omnium. Now here's what I liked about the Zarya page. You can see a little bit more of her particle cannon there. That's a really nice illustration that I've not spotted before. A few other versions of it there too. You can see a propaganda poster as well. Versions of her shield. One of her sprays, I think. Interesting to see that sort of working out how it would sit on her back as well in terms of the charging gear. Avenger being the copy on it, and her gloves, and then some sort of the symbolism and symbols on her as well. Very cool. Everyone's favourite Zen dude, Zenyatta, is all known and loved art. This, of course, is on the front cover, and I love all these illustrations, so it's nice to see them picked out individually. True Self being an out form, we can see a bit of a transcendence there. Sort of a few ideas as to Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord as to how they go. And then orbs hand carved at Shambhali Monastery serves as a means to channel omnic energy. Can be unleashed in peaceful or destructive ways. So it's well worth reading some of the details on these. I couldn't read every single one, but you can see that there are little bits of lore. So for example, we now know what Zenyatta's orbs are. We didn't, I think, know that before reading this. I'll have to double check his bio on the site. Again, do tell me if I'm wrong. Zen as heck there as well. A nice little illustration too. I'm just going to zoom in on that one. Sweet. I believe with Z we must be done. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the book now, folks. Thanks for your patience. We can see environments here. Now what I can show you here, as you can see again, we've gone to this silver embossed style. And this is Hollywood. You can see stage 30 there as a part of it. And then you can also see the sort of characteristic water towers of the lots. Which is very cool. I actually had the privilege and honour of visiting the Warner Brothers film set in Hollywood after an E3 one year that I went to in a previous life and previous work, which is really awesome. I got to see the set of The Big Bang Theory, like the way that the Hollywood level merges between sort of, you know, different fronts and different warehouses. It's totally like a sort of cinema film TV set, which is really cool. Firstly, Dorado, for the levels, you get a few bits of cool copy. Some of these you've seen before in blogs and when levels have been announced in the old patches. If you've not seen them before, then when the levels were announced during open beta. That's for all of you people who think that my beta is a bit weird. I don't know why I say beta, but there you go, beta it is. So all of this text, some of this you can find when levels were announced in open beta, but I will read it out for you anyway. Some of it I think is new, I've not seen before, but it depends on the levels. Again, that's testing my memory off the top of my head. Here you can see what you have is basically a screenshot. Sometimes you have concepts, sometimes you have screenshots in these, so I'll move through these a bit quicker. You have the postcards that came in the collector's edition, you see all of those, and then little bits of art pulled out as well. So for example, in the hero short, up top there we've got a gang tattoo of Los Muertos. So we know, of course, the bit going on and the piñatas and the Festival of Lights. It's Festival de la Luz in Dorado, an annual celebration of the end of the Omnic crisis and the period of darkness, both figurative and literal, that engulfed Mexico, when the Omnics destroyed much of the country's power grid and infrastructure. But there's a new dawn. Lumerica and its CEO, war hero, and former president are unveiling a string of fusion plants that promise to deliver free, clean energy. There you go. We've got a bit of buff lore there. We know that the CEO of Lumerica is a war hero. Very interesting. Did not know that before. There you go. Sourcebook bringing in the goods. We can see some street concepts here. The attacking team begins in Mission Dorado, a historic location famous for the sound of the ornamental bells that everyone likes to play the Futurama song on when you shoot him. The fusion plant, fusion energy is clearly a thing in this universe, and you can see some early Mexico concepts and similar art there as well. You can see, oh, what's that? Mexion Energy Corp. Okay, so yeah, early concepts. Numerico was called Mexion or something similar. Good to know. Into Hammeh, of course, you can see this in the Numbani Tourist Bureau and Airport. You can see beautiful early concepts, little jet bikes there as well. Well-preserved village, unassuming shops and quiet streets, known for the Cherry Blossom Festival. It's the ancestral home of the Shimada ninja clan, very criminal, powerful syndicate and organisation. Hammeh was encircled and made as a district within a larger city. The compound is empty, but the peace may soon be broken. Of course, we know why that's been broken, because of the dragon short. But yeah, this is Genji and Hanzo's home, very much so. Cool explorations of futuristic Japan alongside ancient, like the mixture of the two is really, really cool. The cherry blossoms of Hammeh and the old sort of pagoda style things alongside a modern skyline. It's a beautiful level, Hammeh. I really, really love the work in it. Sort of some of the Korean things there as well. And incidental detail, but it's statue and power lines. The power lines are sort of interesting in how they weave through the level as well. So that's pretty awesome. Next up, we got Hollywood. Got the postcard. That's pretty much a nice sort of illustration scene, and that looks pretty close, including the red car, to the way that the beginning of the level actually looks. So I really like that sort of illustrated style of what is, kind of almost a replica. You've got Gallon's Hotel and everything there, which is really cool. Glamour of Hollywood, palm trees and fancy cars line the streets. Everyone fancy schmoozes together at Gallon's. Down the road from the Mandarin Theatre, this is where they came from beyond the moon, the film posters that you see. And in Route 66, the alien cave is sort of taking the mick out of that. 6-gun killer, very cool. Halfred Glitchbot is in the payload. He's the VIP you're escorting, and you're escorting him because he's become a prime target in the escalating conflict. So that's why you're protecting Halfred Glitchbot in this level. Concepts of different sets. You've got a Mandarin set there, a Mandarin Theatre concept, which is kind of cool. Of course, where the attacking team spawns. The sound stages. The stage is full of different props, lighting, and countless workplace safety violations. Love that. Came from beyond the moon. That was tweeted out as a teaser for Hollywood before the level was announced, which was cool. And then this is the Western set, which is outside. I really, really love this set. Hollywood, by the way, we've done a little video that is Easter eggs in Hollywood. It's kind of so many Blizzard references in Hollywood. So if you've got time, go check that out, or just walk around the level as Overwatch is out. You can do it. Okay, next up we have Ilios. Loving Ilios, very, very cool level. So Ilios is based, and I couldn't remember this the other day, but Ilios is based on Santorini. So if you Google Santorini, I think it's the blues, the whites, the vivid sea. It's a very characteristic palette. So go have a look at Santorini on Google. Got the postcard there. The bio of Ilios is already online. The interesting thing is that on one of the stages, many artifacts have been uncovered, and those artifacts are being looked after, investigated by Talon, Athena in the dropship. If you listen carefully in the dropship on Ilios, Athena mentions that I think that Talon are looking for the artifacts from the Greek final level. So beautiful views, historical pieces, and it's a destination of those who appreciate time away from the city. So it's like idyllic Mediterranean holiday. Grecian, all of that kind of goodness, and of course the windmill that everyone likes to speculate as to which way it's moving. Into King's Row, which is kind of cool. Upscale cosmopolitan neighbourhood of London, but just beneath it's Omnics and humans. The Omnics have actually been driven underground. Apparently much of modern England was built on the backs of Omnic labourers, and they don't have rights. They have to live under King's Row in the underworld in London, which is kind of crazy. Omnic rights, Omnic rights. There have been violent clashes. So this is where Mondata was assassinated by Widowmaker in the Alive short as well. Omnic rights. We know that there's some posters of Zenyatta, I think, around there too. So let's see a bit of King's Row. Outside of the power station, this we've seen in the Are You With Us, or the Koki Sports, can't remember which. I'm going to go for Are You With Us. The conflict between humans and Omnics. I love this. Built by machines. Many of London's new buildings were constructed by Omnic labour. And that is King's Row. Now we're jumping into Lijiang Tower. So I just love the fact that the postcard is China. Come to China, that's all well and good. In terms of the bio, it's in the middle of a modern Chinese metropolis, busy streets lined with stores, gardens, restaurants and famous night markets. And China is home to Lucheng Interstellar, as is Lijiang Tower, that's currently pushing the boundaries, apparently, of space exploration. So we jump in and have a look at the concept. I think it's kind of cool that there was a whole bunch of stuff in terms of space memorabilia, which is very, very cool. Of course, because Lucheng Interstellar are trying to help delve deeper into the solar system. I see all kinds of cool things there. So for example, we've got different things like satellites and things, satellite control and similar such things that we see in terms of the tower extending up into the skyline and the three separate pieces of the King of the Hill level. Next we jump into Numbani. We've got the Numbani tourist board postcard there, of course, that you get in the collector's edition. Omnics and humans together in harmony. And Numbani is indeed the city of harmony. Having a little look at the bio, one of the few places where Omnics and humans live together as equals. And one of the greatest and most technologically advanced cities in the short time since its establishment after the end of the Omnic crisis. And of course they have Unity Day. When we're playing Numbani, something has interrupted Unity Day. We're not 100% sure what it is, but of course we are protecting Doomfist's Gauntlet as we try and escort it to a museum. So you can see a few little things like the bus station in Numbani here, the departure lounge for the airport's very, very cool. Goes directly into the city streets, and that's where you come in. You can see this concept art, and this was pretty much turned into reality. These screens are all in game, so either this is an illustration of what the level looks now. If this was a concept before they actually made the level, then what they've made is very, very similar to this indeed, which is pretty awesome. Next we've got Route 66, home of McCree, home of the Deadlock Gang. Though the travellers and road trippers who used to cross the US on Route 66 are gone, but it still remains. The Deadlock Gang have a base there, the warehouse where they're doing all kinds of nefarious trafficking. You can see the postcard there, and of course with the gas stations, with the diners, the high side. Of course, I believe that the high side is the inn that they're in. Is the big rig concept that the Deadlock Gang are hauling stuff on, which is very cool. And a bit of the Deadlock base as well in here as well. And I believe that the Deadlock Gang, having just blown up the train, are trying to smuggle the train's payload contents back to their base. Of course, if you're playing as defenders, I believe you're trying to stop them from doing so. So Deadlock hideout there, an exploration of the interior of the gang's secret base. On there, if I just zoom in there, that's a little bit interesting. You can see active payload design still, actual payload design still to be decided. That looks a bit more like the crate that was thrown off the train. Probably in McCree's comic. I don't know. The crate, the MacGuffin thrown off the train in McCree's comic was more of a loot box, I would say. Ed's garage. You can see there's a Z there, so that's Zed's garage. And in Zed's garage there are a whole bunch of motorbikes, just like out of Pulp Fiction. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Next up we're going into Nepal with a very cool postcard. So of course this is the home of the Shambali and the Order of Omnic robots who Takata Mondata came from. I believe that's a Police album, I can't quite remember which, don't judge me on that one. But yeah, indeed, Takata Mondata is a reference to an album. And then you have of course Takata Zenyatta as well, and last but not least Genji also spends some time here. I believe in this source book it actually lists his base as being the Shambali Monastery, and of course you can see his sword, you can see a whole bunch of photos of him in young Hanzo, you can see his old garments and things in there as well. Very, very cool indeed. So as we jump on in, we can have a little look at the Shambali Monastery. Peace in a harsh landscape. The monastery is difficult to reach because an easy path is never rewarding. You can see some of the different designs that they tried to use to try and make the monastery fit into part of the landscape. And if you're actually going to have a look at Nepal, it's really impressive because it's very, very scenic and very, very cool. Temple of Anubis, postcard there. Temple of Anubis is in the Temple of Anubis is in the ancient ruins of the Giza Plateau on the outskirts of Cairo. There's many excavations, but there's a big, deep research facility there that houses an AI. Now, in Farah's comic, you understand what Farah is guarding on behalf of Helix Security, and indeed you can hear say that the agents of Helix Security International don't actually know what they're protecting. Pretty cool this. An Egyptian bazaar is not a place we'd expect a battle. Securing victory will require improvisation. I love this concept art. You can see Torby sitting here looking out across the bazaar, which is awesome. Everyone's favourite choke point, the sand crawler, which is what you start from. Early concept focused on a pairing of traditional architecture with futuristic elements. And I think the whole pyramid comes across very well in that regard. Volskaya Industries. Russia was hit hard by the Omnic crisis, and it rode the wave of the mechanised labour industry's revitalisation and grew a bunch. But because the Siberian Omnium has been long dormant but has now reactivated, Russia is back on a war footing, and Volskaya Industries is where the big Svatogor mechs that are used to fight the Omnics are built, which is pretty cool. I see a lot of propaganda style influences. You can see sort of Zaya posters and all kinds of things in here. It's a very Russian skyline, you know, it's sort of almost Kremlin style architecture and things here, or stereotypical Russian Moscow. But a new Omnic thread is coming in. This art, I believe you can see in KK Sports trailer. I like the Watchpoint Gibraltar postcard. Imagination is the essence of discovery. Winston's favourite little quip line there. This is nice to have. At its height, Overwatch maintained a bunch of bases around the world, and Gibraltar was an orbital launch facility. The base was mothballed, along with the rest of Overwatch installations when Overwatch was shut down, but there have been recent reports of activity. Is it former Overwatch agents or something more nefarious? Well, we know that Winston lives there, and it's actually both. Pretty cool, this place, in terms of the home of Winston. He's trying to recall Overwatch agents, should he believe it to be necessary. And you can see various ex-Overwatch tech here. I love sort of the concepts of this hangar, which are very, very cool. Looking at the satellite payload and similar such things, as well as the actual launch bay and facility. This then ends with a whole bunch of conversations with the Overwatch team that I'm not going to read out, but I'm sure someone will transcribe at some point, if not myself. They talk about Origins, finding focus, core combat, going on to BlizzCon. There's some cool things here. One of the things I noticed was that they left a hero name in called... I can't remember, there's a name that they left in the code, and then if that turned up, then they knew that people were trying to decompile the code and data mine, so I'm going to have a Google online for that particular code name for a hero. BlizzCon 2014 reveal, sending it out. Finish with your silvery page, as well as credits. Now we finished with this image, which I believe you've seen, possibly Koki Sports. Again, I always refer to Koki Sports or Are You With Us? I think this is an Are You With Us. Most of the things I've said that are Koki Sports trailer are probably Are You With Us. So have a look for the Are You With Us trailer for this last piece of art, which is Overwatch in the golden years, but of course you can see no Reyes here. You can see Mercy is here, and you can see Farah's mum, Anna Amari, still is here. So that's an interesting combo. A bunch of credits, and then with that we finish with a little bit of special thanks, and then a full colour picture. And again, that one is definitely an Are You With Us, sort of Overwatch golden age style stuff. Very, very cool. And that is our very, very long run through. The world needs heroes on the back there embossed, and that is our walkthrough of the Overwatch sourcebook that you can get in the collector's edition. It's really, really cool. That was very long. Well done if you stuck with us through all this time. I applaud you. I do a whole bunch of voice line videos, lore videos, comic previews, insight into blogs, other assets that Overwatch have released, as well as the quick gameplay guide series, getting you into battle really quickly with new heroes if you're new to Overwatch or new to FPS, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff too. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do let me know what you thought of this vid. I know it was long, but I love the detail in this book. I really wanted to show it off. Please do like, subscribe, comment if you like this below. If you've got any questions, anything in the book that you'd like to see more of, please let me know. We will of course have many more videos coming up soon, and I've got some exciting news for you in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that as well. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Hope to see you soon for some more Overwatch. Take it easy.